Okay, so welcome today to the next episode of the Financial Pulse. We're very lucky to have a marketing and online expert with us today. His name is Greg Milner from Down South Business Marketing and Support. He brings a wealth of knowledge and a long history of managing online marketing. His business that he's had for many years is called Worldwide Marketing for Salons and Spas, and he now looks after marketing for many businesses around Australia. He's very good at deciphering very complicated marketing jargon into very simple steps, and he gives some really good tips and tricks. What he's going to focus on today is making sure your online assets are fine-tuned and you're ready for when your customers are looking for you online and you're ready to service them and sell to them effectively. So welcome, Greg.
Yeah, good morning, Simona. And I think Andrew is with us as well without a camera working.
That's right. We've got Andrew Bromley.
Welcome, Greg. Sorry, we're having some tech issues about the video, but that's okay. We can still talk. Welcome, Greg. Thanks for coming on.
Welcome to my world of tech issues.
Yeah, I guess at the moment we're all sort of experiencing tech to a whole new level, so it's to be expected when we have a little problem or two. Yeah, but thanks for coming on, Greg. It's really nice to speak to you, and it's a pleasure to have people like yourself on to impart knowledge. So yeah, how do you see? What's the first sort of step to get businesses ready for online when the when the lockdowns have all started?
Well, I've been around for a long time, and some people watching this might not remember, but there used to be a thing called the Yellow Pages, and back in my early days, if you wanted to buy a product or a service, you went to the Yellow Pages. Well, of course, that's been completely overtaken now by 90% Google. So everybody watching this will know that when they're looking for a restaurant, or they're looking for a plumber, or they're looking for a lawn mowing contractor, or whatever, they'll pick up their phone and immediately Google what they're looking for. And if you're not visible on the first page of search results in one form or another, then you may as well open your shop in the middle of the Simpson Desert, because nobody's going to find you. So when we talk about online assets, we're talking about Google presence, but we're also talking about your website and your social media presence, all of which feeds into visibility online. And we know that people who have good presence online get the lion's share of the phone calls for whatever that search result is. So I've been encouraging our clients to spend some time and energy and education on making sure that their online assets are visible for when business gets back together. So we spend a lot of time with clients working on their Google business listing, their website, their social media presence, so that anybody searching for whatever you sell, whether it's services or products, you're visible front and center right from the get-go. And if you're not, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. Do you find that a lot of people are not even aware of the fact that you've got a free Google listing available to you?
Yes, and even if they are aware, they're not aware that Google business listing, and I'll share my screen in a minute, but that Google business listing is usually the first thing that comes up when people search. And that Google business listing is like a mini website, but it's actually the most important real estate you can have online, because that's the first thing people see. I'll just give you an example of that. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
So you can see this is a blank. It's Google Incognito. To do a search that's valid, you need to use incognito, because if you're just using normal Google Chrome, Google kind of knows that it's you because of your computer tracking, and it will tend to throw up results that it thinks you want to see. Whereas if you're doing an incognito search, Google doesn't know who you are or where you are. So if we were, for example, to do search for a, plumber, Dunsborough, for example. So these three here, these are Google business listings. These three here, Google tells us get 91% of all the phone calls resulting from that search.
Wow.
And that's called the big three pack, if you like. There's only three ways you can appear on the front page of Google. These are ads, that's one way. So you can pay for advertising. You can get your Google business listing up into the top three, and that requires some technical expertise and what's called search engine optimization. It's a techie term that involves a lot of fingerless gloves, typing on the computer at 3 o'clock in the morning, tweaking things. And then the only other way is through these organic listings here. And a lot of these organic listings are directory listings. So, for example, Yellow Pages. Then there are the organic websites that are owned by these people. These are actual websites that are put up by the businesses. Whereas these Google business listings, yes, you get them free, but they still need to be optimized and set up properly as if it were your own website. And as you can see, the only other way to appear at the top is paid advertising. Otherwise, it's these things here. Because Google puts these up because it's their platform. So they can do whatever they like. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. So if you clicked on one of those, do you mean that the information contained in those three is actually put there by the business owner, and they can put their own image? So that's where you're saying people should go in, do their own listing, and make sure everything is linking correctly to the website. There's photos. Oh, wow. And there's reviews as well.
There's reviews, right? So one of the ways of getting these listings up is getting lots and lots of reviews. And it's important not to ignore these reviews. Google takes a lot of notice of business owners who actually respond to reviews. So you can see in this one here, there's no owner responses. So the owner of this business is pretty much ignoring this asset. And I would imagine that this would be, this is much the same. There's no owner responses.
So you're saying we should be responding to those reviews to say thank you, or
absolutely, absolutely. See, this one's got 27 reviews, and there's a response from the owner.
Oh, fabulous! Okay.
This is a business that we trained to do this.
Yeah.
We also trained, his name's Jimmy, and we trained Jimmy how to put these photos up, to add photos to it on a regular basis, and to optimize those photos with what's called Geo Tagging and meta tagging.
Oh, right.
Which is a techie term. Each photo, each image is a computer file. And in the back end of that file, you can manipulate it to make sure that it tells Google where the photo was taken, what keywords need to be in that photo, etc. So that's a tedious process that has to be done, but it's really important for ranking purposes.
Got ya.
So visibility is the key to this. So if your business isn't visible, it makes it hard. You're making it hard for people to contact you. And bear in mind that if I search for a business name, of course it's going to come up top and front and center in Google, but we're talking here about people who are looking for products and services. They're not necessarily looking for your business name. If they were looking for your business name, they already know who you are. They'll just phone you.
Yeah, true.
They'll pick up the phone. Oh, I want to call JR Plumbing, so I'll just Google JR Plumbing and call him.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point.
but nobody who doesn't know your business name is searching for the name. They're just searching for what they want to buy.
So I'm guessing those keywords then are really important, because you just put in plumbing and Dunsborough. So you're saying because of the geotagging and the keywords that have been put into that Google listing, that's why those three pop up?
Well, that's part of it, yeah. If we go back to that page, there's a lot that goes into optimizing a website and a Google business listing, and reviews are maybe 10% of it. Optimizing the images might be another 15 or 20% of it. Yeah. Getting backlinks from other places on the internet, that's important. Making sure, it even comes down to this, Simona. Let's say, for example, we looked at this one here, and that address there says 24 Ballard Loop, Dunsborough, WA 6281. If we go to the website and the address even has a comma different from what's on the Google listing, Google gets confused.
Oh.
So it has to be absolutely exactly the same wherever the business mentioned online in directories, like in Yellow Pages and Yelp and word of mouth online, and etc., etc. So this one, see that? There's no number on. It should be 24 Ballard Loop, but Google's confused. It's the same in every business. So it's called the NAP, or name, address, phone number. Even your phone number has to be done with the same protocol. So if your phone number on your website is brackets 08 and then the number, it has to be brackets 08 and then the number everywhere else.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and this is why the SEO companies, of which we're one, have to spend hours and hours and hours checking the NAPs, or NAP listings, everywhere that business is mentioned.
Wow.
On Yellow Pages, on Yelp, on various local directories, to make sure that they all match exactly. And that's why SEO can cost some money.
Got ya.
Because it's so labor intensive. And
I guess when you were mentioning the optimizing those photos, the geo tagging that you mentioned, it sounds quite tricky, and I'm guessing there is time involved in doing that and doing it properly.
There's heaps.
Yeah.
Geotag for a local business, geotagging is really important.
Okay.
So on a website, before you put photos on your website, every single image should be optimized, and part of that optimization process is called geotagging.
Yeah.
So you put into that image the latitude and longitude of where that business is.
Got ya.
So that when people do a search on Google, 30% of search on Google are image searches. And if Google puts the images that they take from that website up high on the image results, it helps that website lift up into the top of page one.
So what's the process there for geotagging, Greg? Is that as simple as right-clicking and having options there?
No. When you take a photo on your mobile phone, so your iPhone or your Android phone has a GPS chip in it, and that will automatically put the GPS coordinates into that image. But if you bought a photo or you've taken it on an ordinary camera, it probably won't have that. So you have to manually insert those geotags. I'll just give you an idea of what I mean. Let's have a look. If I grab a photo from my computer somewhere, okay, I'll just drag this across so that you can see what I mean. Here's a group of photos that we're using to put up on a website for a law firm. So if I right-click on that photo, can you see that photo?
Yep.
Indeed, yes.
So if you right click on that, wait till it opens up and go down to properties, opens up a little box like that. And in that tab there called details, you need to put the title of the photo, the subject of the photo, tags saying what the photo is about. So in this case, this law firm does wills and probate. So you type in wills, probate, etc. And then you put comments. In the comments, you put the name and address and phone number of the business. And in authors, you put the website of the business. And down here, somewhere, it doesn't have the details yet because we haven't optimized these properly yet, but will be the geo tags of where the business is. So maybe it's been done on another one. I'll have a look. No, these
I don't think we can see all of your all of the things that pop up, but
yeah.
We're following what you're saying, and some of them did pop up, but not all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure you stepped us through how to do that.
We use a program called Geosetter.
We can see that now. It came up.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we use a program called Geosetter. There are several of them that you can use. And again, you know, you can do lots of them all at once. So can you see my screen now?
You can see the screen showing the photos.
Okay. Let me just, you might have to edit this video later on.
No, it's fine. We see what you're saying and where people can start the process. And I'm sure there's a lot of technical aspects to this.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
So that's why people pay SEO companies.
That's right.
To get all these things right.
Yeah.
And it is a tedious process, but it's really important.
Yeah.
So that's getting that visibility is really crucial. It's what you then do with the traffic or the interest that visibility generates that's really important. And that comes down to, well, what do you want people who visit your website to actually do? And most people want a phone call.
Yeah.
Or an order.
Mm.
So you've got to make sure that your website is set up so that it produces what we call the most wanted response. Sorry about the clanging noise in the background. I'm getting a gas bottle delivered. So yeah, you've got to work out what your most wanted response is from people visiting your online assets. And your website is obviously pretty crucial to that. So if we have a look at, let's see, can't get rid of that. So if we, tell me if you can see this website. Can you see
Yep, see it, yep.
Allura is here for you, okay? So the most important thing for people visiting a website is, I want to contact this business. Don't make it hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when every website we build, we make sure that the phone number is right at the top of the website. Whereas a lot of business owners bury it behind a contact us button.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? So you imagine this is on a mobile phone, because 70% of people are looking at your website on their mobile phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a tiny little screen.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make them go hunting for your contact details.
No, that's right.
Because generally people when they're shopping, they want instant results. And a lot of people have the concentration span of a budgie. So if you don't get them in that first 3 seconds, they'll go somewhere else. The next thing we have on websites is some means of booking an appointment or a consultation or whatever it is that you want. So you'll see that this is a website there's a new website we've just put up today for a company in Brisbane. Again, phone number, book online, and an email address.
Yeah.
The other thing that people, let's say you get 20 people coming to your website and one or two of them make a phone call or book something or buy something. But what about the other 18 or 19 of them who don't actually buy something, but they're interested? So what we always advise is giving them some reason to give you their contact details. So for example, on this type of website, we'd offer them some incentive, like a gift voucher, name, last name, email address, and phone number.
Yeah,
now,
right.
This website has generated more than 1,000 of those in 12 months. And because they've got, they instantly get that person's contact details, they phone them up. Okay, we got your request for a gift voucher. When would you like to come in? And they've turned 300 or 400 of those 1,000 people into regular customers.
Wow.
So that's really important. So we do that kind of thing on almost every website we build. Certainly for local service businesses, which is really important. And in our area in the southwest of WA, most businesses are service businesses.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no major company employers apart from local government and state government.
Yeah.
Almost everybody here has some kind of service business.
Yeah.
Whether it's a restaurant or a hair salon or a tax advisor or whatever, they're all service businesses.
Yeah.
And service businesses rely on a constant stream of new and returning customers.
That's right.
So we just make sure that the website does the three things that websites are supposed to do. One is to be visible on Google.
Yeah.
Two is to generate sales or appointments. And three is to generate leads.
Yeah.
And everything else on a website is really just fluff.
Yeah.
It's just blur. It's pointless mission statements and our vision for the future and blah, blah, blah. But customers tend not to give a toss about that.
I like how you've just summarized it so quickly and so yeah, I mean, it is simple, but I'm gathering most people do get this wrong if they're doing their websites themselves.
Yeah, well, even we find that even most website designers design websites from a graphic arts point of view, to look pretty. So looking pretty and impressive strokes the ego of the business owner. Wow, look at our fantastic website. How many phone calls does it generate? I don't know. How many leads does it generate? Oh, what's a lead? So I instruct our designers to look at it from a marketing point of view rather than an aesthetic point of view. Sure. So make the marketing work first, and then you can make it look as pretty as you like, but it has to have that functionality.
Got ya.
Functionality is key. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And look, there's more to it than just making the phone ring and people book online and give you their leads, but they're the essentials. If those things don't work, all of the other stuff that you put into your online presence is a waste of time. Yeah.
So when you were mentioning just then about that salon website, and you know that 1,000 people had put their email address in there, how do you know how many people actually clicked in the website? Is that part of the SEO strategy to know how much traffic, so you know if it's actually effective?
Yeah, because when there's something called Google Analytics. Yeah. So you can put code into the website that tracks traffic from, say, Facebook and Google. And then you can go into the back end of Google Analytics for that particular account. And, and Google will give you enormous amounts of data. They'll tell you which pages people went to, which page they went to after that page, how long they spent on that page, what they did on that page.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, I mean, a website itself is like an iceberg. There's a little tip at the top that people see sticking out of the water, but then it's enormous underneath with all of the other stuff that goes into it. Yeah. And that stuff gives you a lot of data, and you can make a change to a website and within a day see instant change in Google Analytics.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, it's tedious, and I don't do it, but my team of specialists really get into that sort of stuff. To me, it's like, chalk on a blackboard.
You stick to your strengths and do what you're good at and have a team that helps you.
I just advise businesses and give them some clarity about what's important.
Yeah.
And then hand that project over to our team, who builds it based on what the business owner wants, or the result the business owner wants.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to have stern words with business owners who say, oh, my website's not pretty enough. Yeah, but what about that 38 phone calls you had today? How did that go for you?
That's
oh,
right.
yeah, that's nice. It's the only thing that matters.
It's so true. That is so true.
So there's a lot of clarity that's required by business owners to think, first of all, what do I want from my customers? Well, I want them to give me their business, and what really matters is the number of phone calls and bookings and sales you make, not any of the other stuff. And to be honest, we're dealing with a lawyer at the moment who has spent thousands of dollars and countless weeks, months building websites himself, getting himself tied up in knots, listening to one web designer's advice and then taking another web designer's advice, and instead of doing what he does, which is lawyering.
Yeah.
It's like me trying to do my own financial accounts and tax planning instead, and spending 3 years learning how to do it. No, I'll get Simona to do it and pay her X amount of money, and it's done in a week. You know what I mean?
Oh, look, exactly. If you're not good at something, you're better off making money at what you are good at.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then have everything else tied up properly. I agree. Yeah.
Yes, what you're good at. So
yeah,
it's really about focusing on your online assets, knowing what you want out of those online assets, and then handing that project to somebody who can do it quick, smart.
Yeah.
And getting the job done.
Exactly, because people need to do this SEO. They need to do their Google listing quick, smart. If your business is shut at the moment, your only presence is really online. Yeah.
Here's another thing that we encourage businesses to do, and that's video. Because video is 30 or 40% of search. And Google owns YouTube.
Yeah,
so I'll give you an example. Here's a client of ours who in Brisbane, she's a trichologist, and a trichologist concentrates not on cutting hair but on hair health. So if I go hair health Brisbane, it'll bring up search results. That's her there, etc. But in videos, can you see my screen?
It's still showing up. Okay, yep. See it now. Yep.
Their searches for videos. Every one of those videos is her business.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you just search not the videos, what's coming up there, Greg?
If you just do
that screen,
a normal search.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
So has she put them on YouTube then? Is that what you're saying?
She put the videos on YouTube
and
then embedded them in her websites, plural. She's got several websites.
I
that's her website there. That's her website there. That's her web. It's a different website, but it's still hers.
Yeah.
So she kind of dominates the search in the whole city of Brisbane for that particular market.
Wow.
One of the reasons that she's done that is because that's her YouTube video there. That's her YouTube video there.
Yeah.
So question on that one, do those different websites all funnel back to the one single website, or is that
Yes,
three?
they do.
Yeah.
No, well, they funnel back to her business.
Yeah.
Having one great website is good. Having two is better. Having three is better than two. Having four is better than three, etc. Because the more you have, the more chance you've got of owning that real estate and shutting your competitors out.
Oh, wow. I've never thought of that strategy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So these are her YouTube videos, and she does one a week.
Okay.
So that's an ad. We can get rid of that.
Yep.
And she just does simple videos standing in front of a phone.
Oh, does she? So she
Yep.
doesn't have any setup or anything that's sophisticated?
No.
Oh, that's encouraging.
There she is.
Right.
So she just does one of those a week, puts them on YouTube, and we set all that infrastructure up for her.
Yeah.
And trained her how to upload them, how to then put them into her websites.
Yeah.
And then she emails her clients saying, "Oh, we've just got this new video on our blog page. Check it out."
Wow.
Now, because YouTube is owned by Google,
They
Google
like
pays
it.
a lot of attention to people who put YouTube videos up.
Oh, gosh. Okay. This is,
Right.
it's all making sense. Okay. Yeah.
So then no other trichology business in Brisbane gets much of a look in. And because she has done those videos over many years, she gets clients from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And she consults with them on Zoom or Skype.
Mind blown. Yeah.
So
That's cool.
If you've got that kind of business, or any kind of business that requires some consulting and advising, you can do that from little old Dunsborough or Bustleton.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do a fair bit of Zoom, well, especially lately, a fair bit of Zoom stuff, and people are certainly realising that you can do it. You know, I've been speaking to a client this week in Brisbane, so it's it's certainly the benefit there of having the remote contact.
Yeah, and I get clients from all over the world. We've got businesses in all over America and the UK and New Zealand and weird places, South Africa, that we do exactly the same for them as we do for Australian customers.
And we get to live in Dunsborough.
And we get to live in Dunsborough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, there is a lot to it, but once you get this thing going, it kind of creates a huge momentum. And bear in mind that people who own businesses tend to think of themselves as that kind of tradesperson. A plumber. What are you? Oh, I'm a plumber, or I'm an engineer, or I'm a financial advisor, or no, you're a marketing and sales business first, and whatever you sell is almost a byproduct of the marketing and sales.
Yeah. Because if you don't have the marketing, you don't have a business.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's only two things that matter in business. One is having something to sell, and two is having systems in place to bring people into what you sell. And having those systems and processes and infrastructure and assets in place is almost more important than whatever it is you sell.
I like that.
Excellent. Yeah, nice. Good stuff.
You know, being good at what you do is terrific, but unless you've got the marketing assets, you're only as good as the next guy.
That's so true.
So because the marketing is the only thing that brings business in the door, and without that marketing, you're chasing people down all the time.
Yeah.
And when you hammer on their door or phone them, they back away from you emotionally, if not physically, as fast as you go towards them. But if you've got great marketing assets in place, great lead generation systems, fantastic presence on Google, the phone call you want to get is the one that is generated by that presence, which is, "Hi, I want whatever you're selling." Not,
Yeah.
hi, what do you charge for X? Okay, now I'm going to go and phone your competitor and find out what they charge for X.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense.
Mm.
Yeah. Very inspired by this chat, by the way, Greg. So
Now, what are you
thank
going
you.
to do with it, Simona?
Well, I've got a lot of work to do, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this and listening will take away quite a lot of knowledge now and know where to go, and at least reach out and get some help. If you're feeling like you can't do it, reach out to people like yourselves to get some expert help.
I'm passionate about it because I see the results.
Yeah.
When things are set up properly. We've got a litany of history of business owners who have rung up and said, all that stuff you did, can you turn it off because I'm booked up, 11 weeks ahead.
That's a good problem to have.
Great problem to have. Yeah, I mean, and it's quite common if it's done properly. I'll give you an example. If I can just load up this page, I'll just share this page with you. Here's a business. Let's have a look here. Here's a business in Sydney that we set up a website for and a lead generating advertising campaign. That's the number of people disappeared. The number of people in 3 weeks who filled in the form on her website before the shutdown. Let's have a look. So in 3 weeks, from March the 4th to March the 23rd, 41 people said, yes, I want what you're selling. And that was simply because it was all set up properly. And she rang us up and said, we've been told to shut down, so can you turn off whatever you've set up for us? So it's pretty powerful stuff. This is another one.
Amazing.
This is the 6th of March to the 27th of March. These are the actual paid bookings that this business got for a little cosmetic tattoo removal offer.
Yeah, wow.
And that was just a trial. She booked nearly $2,700 worth of business in less than 3 weeks, just through the proper lead generating processing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty powerful stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
the proof
amazing.
is in the pudding, isn't it? When you show us in reality how things actually happen.
Yeah, they do actually happen like that.
Yeah.
And that's why Google and Facebook make so much money. People say to me, business owners, they initially come to me and say, oh, I've tried advertising on Google or I've tried advertising on Facebook and it doesn't work. Well, let's think about that for a minute. If it per se didn't work, therefore, if advertising on Facebook and Google didn't work, they wouldn't be making any money.
Yeah.
obviously it works because they're the two biggest tech companies in the world, and that's the only way they make money.
Yeah.
So obviously businesses who advertise properly on Google and Facebook, they make money.
Yeah.
But it's doing it properly instead of trying to do it. It's like me trying to do my financial statements and ending up in jail.
Don't do that.
Rather than saying, Simona, can you fix it for me?
Or me trying to do any DIY projects at all.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. We all have our strengths and our expertise. That's right.
Yeah.
Look, Greg, this has been a fantastic episode, and thank you for sharing some amazing behind the scenes information, some tips, really practical stuff that I think all businesses can use. I can't actually believe that some of those businesses end up with that much presence online, because everyone knows trying to even get listed on the first page is very, very difficult. So I think everyone should take away a lot of nuggets from this and go away and have a hard think about their online presence. So thank you so much, Greg, for imparting your knowledge for free like this.
Cost you nothing to call me and talk to me for free.
That's fantastic. And where should people look to find you?
you can find me at a website called gregmilner.com.au. Or phone me 9443-9327.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. We'll obviously put your details up, link on the video that we're going to be putting out shortly. But yeah, thanks very much for the chat, Greg.
Pleasure.
Enjoy your day.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time. Thanks, Greg.